There is a creature so small you could fit thousands of them on a pinhead. A creature that can survive boiling water, crushing pressure, freezing vacuum, starvation, radiation, and even the emptiness of outer space. This is the tardigrade, the closest thing we have to an indestructible animal. But how did something so tiny evolve to become nearly unkillable? What biological tricks allow it to survive the impossible? And what does this tell us about the limits of life on Earth and maybe life beyond it? Tardigrades are ancient. Fossil evidence shows their lineage stretching back over 500 million years, emerging during the Cambrian explosion when the first complex animals appeared. They're not insects, not crustaceans, not worms. They belong to their own phylum called Tardigrada, meaning slow walkers. Under a microscope, they lumber along on 8 stubby legs with tiny claws, looking like miniature bears trudging through an alien landscape. Early tardigrades lived in shallow seas. Over millions of years, they spread everywhere: moss, soil, ocean trenches, mountain peaks, tropical rainforests, and Arctic ice. But their evolution took a strange turn. Instead of becoming faster or stronger, they became harder to kill. Extreme environments became their playground, and their key adaptation would become one of the strangest superpowers in biology. A tardigrade looks adorable, like a microscopic teddy bear about the size of a grain of sand. But inside this soft creature lies a survival machine unlike anything else in nature. Their body has a flexible cuticle that withstands extreme pressure and vacuum. Their cells contain very little water, preventing ice crystal formation. Special proteins shield their DNA from radiation, and their metabolism can slow to almost nothing, entering suspended animation for decades. Tardigrades don't fight their environment. They simply turn themselves off and wait. This ability, called cryptobiosis, is their ultimate weapon. If you're enjoying this dive into one of nature's strangest animals, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps me create more content like this, and there are plenty more impossible creatures to explore. When conditions become deadly, a tardigrade curls into a tiny ball called a ton, pulling in its legs and becoming almost perfectly round. Inside this state, it loses up to 99% of its water content. Its metabolism drops to just 0.01% of normal. Special proteins and sugars flood its cells, forming glass-like structures that stabilize DNA and prevent cellular collapse. In this form, tardigrades are effectively non-living, not growing, not thinking, just waiting. Time becomes meaningless. A tardigrade can remain like this for decades. When water returns, the ton absorbs moisture, and within hours, the tardigrade unfolds, rehydrates, and simply walks away as if nothing happened. No other animal on Earth is so good at pressing the pause button on life itself. What exactly can tardigrades endure? They can survive being boiled above 100 degrees Celsius. They can be frozen to minus 272 degrees Celsius, just 1 degree above absolute zero. They can withstand pressure 6 times greater than the deepest ocean trench. They can endure radiation levels that would kill a human 1,000 times over. They can survive starvation for over 30 years. One study revived a tardigrade frozen in moss for 3 decades. It woke up, ate, and reproduced normally, but most incredibly, they can survive space. In 2007, the European Space Agency exposed thousands of tardigrades directly to the void for 10 days. Unfiltered cosmic radiation, extreme temperatures, complete absence of air pressure. Most animals would die within seconds. Many tardigrades survived. Some even laid eggs in space that later hatched successfully. No other multicellular organism has ever done this. What makes this possible? Scientists have identified several extraordinary adaptations. First, there's a protein called Dsup, damage suppressor, unique to tardigrades. It wraps around their DNA like a protective blanket, shielding it from radiation. Human cells modified to produce Dsup became dramatically more resistant to X-ray damage, with huge implications for space travel and cancer research. Second, tardigrades produce massive amounts of trehalose during dehydration. This sugar replaces water in their cells and forms a glass-like substance that prevents cellular collapse through vitrification. Third, heat shock proteins act like cellular repair crews, quickly refolding damaged proteins when the tardigrade rehydrates. And finally, their genes allow them to shut down metabolism without triggering cell death, something very few organisms can do. Tardigrades force us to reconsider everything about life. If something this small can survive in space, what else might be out there? Could life exist on Mars, frozen in soil, waiting for water? Could microorganisms travel between planets on asteroids? They challenge our definitions of life and death. Is a tardigrade in cryptobiosis alive or dead? It's neither. It's in between. They also challenge evolutionary success. Most animals evolved to dominate their ecosystem. Tardigrades evolved to outlast ecosystems, to wait out disasters, to persist when everything else dies. They're proof that life doesn't need to be big, fast, strong, or intelligent to be extraordinary. The tardigrade, this tiny water bear smaller than a grain of sand, is a reminder that life on Earth is stranger and tougher than we ever imagined. A creature capable of surviving the vacuum of space, a living time capsule of evolution, a window into what life might look like on worlds beyond our own. In the grand story of life, tardigrades are not the strongest or fastest, but they might be the toughest. And in a universe full of hostile environments, maybe that's the most important adaptation of all. The next time you walk through a garden, remember that millions of these indestructible micro-animals are all around you, hidden in moss, quietly enduring, patiently waiting, ready to survive whatever comes next. The tardigrade, Earth's ultimate survivor, proof that sometimes the most incredible things in the universe are the ones we can barely see.